Welcome to PBS 39 Scholastic Scrimmage. Scholastic Scrimmage is brought to you by the members of PBS 39 and by
Scholastic Scrimmage is sponsored by St. Luke's University Health Network, the region's leading provider of medical education. For more than 100 years, St. Luke's has been dedicated to educating physicians, nurses, and healthcare professionals. To learn more, call St. Luke's InfoLink, toll free at 866 St. Luke's, or visit sluhn.org.
Support for PBS 39's educational programming is provided by the Deluxe Corporation Foundation, proud to support quality programming on PBS 39.
And now your host, Dr. Karen Walton, Provost DeSales University.
Welcome to Scholastic Scrimmage. It's the 42nd year that PBS 39 has brought you this academic competition. I'm Karen Walton, and I'm delighted to be your host. From now until June, the best and brightest students from 31 schools will compete for the honor of being the Scholastic Scrimmage champions. At the end of the season, the two final teams will win scholarships for their schools from the Air Products Foundation. Let's meet the team from Wilson High School.
I'm Michael Jablonski. I'm a sophomore.
I'm Leah Galeb. I'm a sophomore.
Hi, I'm Hannah Fabian, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Chris Fernandez, and I'm a sophomore.
Wilson's coach is Paul Stewart. And now the team from Liberty High School.
I'm Sam Kaufman, and I'm a junior.
I'm Ben Kussmal, and I'm a senior.
I'm May White, and I'm a senior.
I'm Steven Schnabel, and I'm a junior.
Liberty's coach is David Ambrose. The judges for today's contest are Sally Campbell, retired English teacher, and Dr. Gary DeLeo, professor of physics at Lehigh University. Remember that the questions on Scholastic Scrimmage demand rapid recall of factual information and are not necessarily indicative of academic training. We understand the rules, so let's begin the contest with a toss-up in mathematics. What is the standard name of the mathematical theorem that gives the general form for the expansion of the quantity a plus b raised to the nth power? It's the binomial theorem. Next toss-up is in world history. Name the 16th century German leader responsible for the start of the Reformation in Liberty?
Martin Luther.
And your bonus? In which city was the Reformation leader John Calvin the dominant personality from 1541 until his death?
Geneva.
It's going to be Geneva. Ben?
Geneva.
Correct. Toss-up in American literature. George Plimpton wrote an oral biography in The New Yorker describing Truman Capote's style of reporting and conduct during writing of In Cold Blood. One of the participants in the biography is John Knowles, who is the author of a novel that is widely read in high school. Name this novel in which the conflict parallels that of World War II. A separate piece. Next toss-up is in biology, multiple choice. Chromosomes contain A, single DNA double helix, B, a single strand of DNA, C, several DNA double helixes, or D, multiple strands of RNA. It will go over to Liberty. It is
B.
A single DNA double helix. Toss-up in Pennsylvania history. This is a video question.
The first stagecoach line, which connected the Lehigh Valley with Philadelphia, was inaugurated by George Klein in 1763. Which famous inn served as the stage terminal for this first line?
Liberty?
The Sun Inn.
Bethlehem's Sun Inn is the correct answer. And your bonus. During the late 18th century, Lehigh Valley roads were poor and often impassable. Name the famous vehicle that was designed to haul freight over such roads. It was built sturdy and high enough to survive the ruts and mud. Ben?
The Conestoga Wagon.
Yes. Toss-up on world geography. In 79 AD, a volcanic eruption in Italy. Wilson?
Pompeii.
I will continue for Liberty. In 79 AD, a volcanic eruption in Italy destroyed the cities of Herculaneum and Pompeii. Name the volcano that erupted. It is Sam, I believe, or who was Steve?
Yes. Mount Vesuvius.
It is Mount Vesuvius. You had the right idea. You just didn't hear the whole question. Congratulations to you. And your bonus, Liberty. Another Italian volcano was named for the spot where a mythological giant slept. The eruptions were the breaths of the giant, and the accompanying earth shakes were caused by his tossing and turning. Name this highest active volcano in Europe. Ben?
Mount Etna.
Yes. The next question is in British literature. Name the 18th century Irish-born English satirist who was also an Anglican priest. He is best known as the author of Gulliver's Travels. Liberty?
Jonathan Swift.
And your bonus. For 5 points each, what well-known satiric essay by Swift attended to awaken people to the problems of the poor in Ireland?
It's the one where he suggests feeding babies to. It's really weird. A Modest Proposal.
Ben?
A Modest Proposal.
Correct. Next. Swift uses a governing metaphor in his essay, in which parents and their children are compared to what?
The state and its citizens? No.
Ben?
State and its citizens.
No. Cattle, animals, livestock, something of that order. Next toss-up is in world history. What two city-states in ancient Greece fought in the Peloponnesian? Liberty?
Athens and Sparta.
Bonus? Multiple choice. The modern Athens Marathon commemorates the run of the soldier Phidippides from a battlefield at the site of the town of Marathon, Greece, to Athens in 490 BC. What is the length of the modern Olympic marathon rounded off to the nearest mile?
26. Yeah.
Ben?
26.
Miles is correct. Toss-up in mathematics, probability and statistics. In an election district of 2,000 voters, 800 are Republicans, 700 are Democrats, and the rest are independents. If a voter is chosen at random, what is the probability that an independent is selected? It is Liberty.
25%.
That is correct. 1/4, 24%, 25%. And your bonus. In the same district, what is the probability that a Democrat or an independent is chosen?
60. 60.
Ben?
60.
60% is correct. Toss up in American literature. A recent New Yorker cartoon shows two men in a conversation. One says to the other, "Two roads diverge in a wood, and I chose the one that said, mergers, acquisitions, incredible bonuses." What great American poet? Liberty?
Robert Frost.
He was paraphrasing. And your bonus. Frost completes his poem thus. Two roads diverge in a wood, and I took, complete the final two lines of the poem.
I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference, yeah.
Ben?
I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
Yes. Music. Listen to this famous patriotic song written by a Russian immigrant.
God bless America, land hide her and guide her through the night with a light from above.
Name the song. Liberty?
God Bless America.
Yes. Sort of who's buried in Grant's tomb. Next bonus is this. Name the famous Russian immigrant on the monitor who, in addition to God Bless America, wrote Easter Parade and White Christmas. Ben?
Irving Berlin.
Yes. Good job, Steve. Next toss-up is in biology. Methanogens, a species from the domain Archaea, produce methane from what gas? Wilson?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide is correct, and your bonus. Archaea also include halophiles. In what type of solutions would one find halophiles? Hannah?
Aqueous.
What is the characteristic of the aqueous solution?
It's dissolved in water.
Well, aqueous means water. The judges will not accept it. It's salt solutions. So, for example, salt dissolved in water like the Dead Sea or something of that sort. Okay? Nice try. Toss up in world geography. The world's largest subtropical desert covers parts of 13 African countries. Name the desert. Liberty?
The Sahara.
Bonus. The second largest subtropical desert is bordered by the Persian Gulf on the east and the Red Sea on the west. At its center is one of the largest continuous bodies of sand in the world. Name this desert. Ben?
The Arabian.
The Arabian Desert is correct. Mathematics. Paper and pencil. A new car depreciates by 20% of its value each year. If a car is purchased for $30,000, what is its value after 2 years? Wilson?
19,200.
Very good. And your bonus. Again, paper and pencil. If you invest $20,000 and it appreciates at 12% per year, compounded monthly, what is its value after 1 month? It's 20,200. It's the 20,000 times 0.12 and then divided by 12. Toss up in physics. Refraction can be understood in terms of a principle that states that each point of a wave front may be considered a wavelet source. What is the name of this principle? That's Huygens principle. Toss up in world history. Which epidemic killed over 5,000 people in the U.S. from 1949 to 1952? Liberty?
Polio.
Is correct. Steve? And your bonus. What symptoms affected some victims decades after recovering from polio?
Paralysis of the lower body.
Ben?
Paralysis of the lower body.
The judges will take or not take paralysis of the lower body. They will take it. Muscle weakness, fatigue, pain, and so on. Some people were in iron lungs for a while. Terrible, terrible, terrible disease. Toss up in art. Multiple choice. The style of classical buildings can be determined by looking at the top of the column, or capital. The capitals that we are looking at indicate which style of classical building. Is it A, Doric, B, Ionic, or C, Wilson?
Ionic.
Over to Liberty, the choices are A, Doric, B, Ionic, or C, Corinthian. Liberty?
Doric.
Is correct. Sam. Multiple choice for Liberty for your bonus. Many of America's most famous buildings imitate or incorporate classical features. Which one of the following buildings is not classical? Is it A, our National Capitol Building, B, the Pennsylvania Capitol Building, the Philadelphia Museum of Art, or St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City?
Wait, the cathedral is going to be Greek. Oh, Greek. Yeah, the cathedral.
Ben?
The cathedral.
St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. It's Gothic. It is halftime. The halftime score is Liberty 205 and Wilson 5. In the first round, we asked the students to tell us something about someone they admire, perhaps a role model. So let's begin with Wilson. Mike?
I suppose I'd have to choose Mr. Stewart. He's my chem teacher, in charge of our scholastic scrimmage team, my soccer coach. He's always been a wise and knowledgeable person, and I've learned a lot from being around him, so I'm very thankful to know him.
Is he also your soccer coach?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Leah?
I would have to say my mom, because she came to America and built a better life for her, and I very much admire that.
From where?
Lebanon.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Hannah?
I'm going to say my brother, because he's always inspired me to do really well, like academically and athletically. So I look up to him for that.
This is your older brother?
My older brother.
Your big brother, yes. Chris?
I would say Christina Yang, because she inspires me to like want to go into surgery. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Over to Liberty. Sam?
A historical figure I admire is Harvey Milk. He was a community organizer in San Francisco and the first openly gay man to serve in major public office.
Did you like the movie?
Yes.
It was an excellent movie, yes. Ben?
I'd have to say my parents. Words cannot describe how much they've done for me. I'm sure that's true for all of us.
Thank you, thank you. May?
My father, for the same reasons that Leah had stated, he moved from Burma to America to make a life for our whole family.
Fabulous, fabulous. And Steve?
My father, Seth Schnabel Jr., dear old dad. He's just a pretty good human being, and I want to try to be like him. So.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thanks, all of you. Next toss-up is U.S. geography. The Apache Indians were a nomadic people who moved around the Southwest in an area extending from northern Mexico to the Arkansas River and from central Texas to the central part of the state just east of California. Name that state. Wilson?
Okay.
Yes.
Nevada.
Over to Liberty. Sam?
Arizona.
Yes, and your bonus. Historic Fort Apache, home of the White Mountain Apache Reservation, is located northwest of what large city, the capital of Arizona? Ben?
Phoenix.
Correct. The next toss-up is in world history. Name the powerful kingdom that was centered in the German state of Brandenburg not long after the reign of Frederick William, often... Wilson?
Prussia?
Yes, and your bonus. Name 3 of the members of the Quadruple Alliance formed at the 1814-1815 Congress of Vienna by the powers that had defeated Napoleon. No partial credit given. Time is up. The 4, you needed 3 of the following: Britain or England, Austria, Russia, and Prussia. I did hear you whispering some of those, but you didn't make it under the buzzer. Next toss-up is in language arts. Identify the grammatical problem in the following sentence on the monitor. Enormous and architecturally striking. Liberty?
It's not clear whether enormous and structurally striking is applying to everyone or the building.
Will the judges take that? He is talking about a dangling modifier. Since it dangles, it doesn't know where it's supposed to be. And so, correct the dangling modifier in the same sentence for your bonus.
Everyone is impressed by the enormous and architecturally striking new building.
Yes. Yeah.
Ben?
Everyone is impressed by the enormous and architecturally striking new building.
They will take that. There are various ways you could do it, but that is correct. Next toss-up is U.S. history. What prison, one of the most infamous in American history, is named The Rock? Wilson?
Alcatraz.
Yes. And your bonus, I think you anticipate it. One of the most famous inmates was Robert Franklin Stroud, who became famous because of an unusual hobby. What was his nickname?
The Birdman?
Yes, the Birdman of Alcatraz. Next toss-up is in physics. How many different kinds of cone cells are found in the human retina? Wilson?
2.
Over to Liberty. Ben? It was not Ben, it was May.
3.
There are 3, red, green, and blue cones, and your bonus. What color of light will appear as a result of adding red and green light together?
It's yellow. Yellow? No, it's yellow. It's definitely yellow. Okay.
Ben?
Yellow?
It is correct. Toss up in British literature. In which Shakespearean play are these lines? Is this a dagger which I see before me? Liberty?
Hamlet?
I will continue for Wilson. Is this a dagger that I see before me, the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Yes?
Romeo and Juliet?
It is Macbeth. And remember Lady Macbeth. Toss up in world history. What country was involved in these 3 17th century events? The Grand Rebellion, Grand Alliance, Glorious Revolution. Liberty?
Britain.
Bonus? Great Britain would later fight in the Great War. By what name is this war more commonly known? Ben?
World War I?
Yes. Mathematics. Paper and pencil. Find the mean of the numbers on the monitor, which are square root. Liberty?
0.4.
Is the correct answer. And your bonus. The mean of A and B, paper and pencil, the mean of A and B, the mean of A and another number is B. What is the other number?
A minus 2B.
Is it 2A minus 2B?
Ben?
2A minus 2B?
2B minus A.
Oh.
Toss up in world literature. In Paradise Lost, Satan, who has been hurled out of heaven, speaks to his followers. Complete this famous statement. To reign is worth ambition, though in hell. Better to reign in hell than what? Liberty?
Serve in heaven.
Correct. And your bonus. Satan tells Beelzebub that he, Satan, will continue to fight God. Beelzebub has had many other names, including Satan and Devil. Name one of the others. Ben?
Lord of the Flies.
That is correct. In Hebrew, it's Lord of the Flies. Toss up in world geography. The smallest country in the world is an enclave in the city Liberty.
Vatican City.
Bonus. Name the small country that lies between France and Spain. Ben?
Liechtenstein.
It is Andorra. Little controversy on the team. Next toss-up is in U.S. history. Name the Japanese admiral who commanded the combined fleet of Japan and planned the attack on Pearl Harbor. Yamamoto. Toss-up in biology, multiple choice. If one were to remove completely a strip of bark all the way around a tree, which of the following would result? 1, scar tissue would form. 2, the bark would regenerate. 3, the tree would die. Or Wilson?
3.
It is 3, the tree would die. What is the scientific term for the innermost layer of the bark? It is phloem. Toss-up in language arts. What Greek philosopher's name denotes a person who is a connoisseur? One who takes pleasure in eating and drinking, who displays fastidiousness in his tastes. Epicurus. Toss-up in current events. Identify the local institution of higher learning that is celebrating its 150th anniversary. Liberty?
Lehigh University.
And your bonus, conductor Diane Whitry is celebrating her 20th year on the podium. What orchestra does Miss Whitry conduct? Ben?
The New York Philharmonic.
The correct answer is Allentown Symphony. The final score is Liberty 320, Wilson 35. Our thanks to Wilson High School for participating. Congratulations to Liberty High School. We'll see you in round 2 later in the season. Thank you for watching and supporting these excellent students. Please join us next week for another contest on Scholastic Scrimmage.
Scholastic Scrimmage is brought to you by the members of PBS 39 and by
Support for PBS 39's educational programming is provided by the Deluxe Corporation Foundation, proud to support quality programming on PBS 39.